What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Madden 21 Connected Franchise Series video. We actually have an announcement that we're going to make here today, but this is going to be a little bit of a different video. Now, you guys see probably the other helmet in the background. This was actually supposed to be the Pittsburgh Steelers game, Week 4. But I actually made the entire video. Usual content, usual style. But unfortunately, I accidentally deleted the entirety of the video. So that's completely my fault. But yeah, no, these were all turnovers and bad plays in the second half. You know, we let the team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, get back into it after we were up 13-3. And, you know, somehow, someway, we found a way to get it done. And we won 17-27. Now it's Week 5. We're under the lights again. And it's a little bit chillier. It's a little bit colder, you know. 57 degrees, 13 to 16 mile per hour winds. You know, wind gusts up to about 33 miles per hour. You know, right now we're going to be heading into the teeth of the wind. We did get the football to open up this game. This is going to be a shorter video, and we'll probably see a lot more shorter videos for the rest of the season. I will commentate it a little bit, but that's how this is going to be, you know. It's gonna be, you know, maybe we do multiple games in one episode, but I might pick and choose drives I want from each quarter to put in here. And if it's good in the second half, or if it's really tight in the fourth quarter, you know, I'll put in more and more plays. As we got to see Denzel Mims, he catches it on the slant, and Owen Phillips will open up this game 3 for 3. And by the way, Denzel Mims and Matthew Foster had fantastic games in week 4. Matthew Foster really pretty much caught the dagger of a touchdown pass, you know. But that's probably gonna be the content moving forward. You know, it's probably gonna be short form and all that stuff. And I probably will do that once I get the newer games, you know. So you guys see. Kalani Lake had one heck of a ball game. Kalani Lake, who, by the way, you know, he got a lot of work in this game. 3rd and goal from the 3 as Owen Phillips. He's going to take a fade to Bobby Peak. Throw the fade against Stephon Gilmore. He nearly brought that one down. Yo, shout out to Bobby Peak, man. You know, but those are the type of games that we're probably going to see from here on out. Now, we will still see the full games, like the usual type of content. Like, okay, late in the season, okay, week 16 and 17, all right? You know, if we need to win those games to stay alive or win those games to clinch a playoff spot, we will play the entirety of those games. Week 2, like, and obviously, like, you know, big games that we need to have in the regular season, maybe. But definitely, like the Week 17s, winning your end situations, we'll definitely play those in their entirety. We might actually play a little bit more deep. We'll probably have some defensive snaps. Now, defensively, if we do defensive snaps, I'll only control the defensive lineman. You know, I'll play a lock on a D lineman. Now, playoffs, we'll definitely probably play all the playoff games and stuff like that. We'll probably, before the playoffs, definitely, you know, get a season recap and stuff like that. You know, season recap and all that stuff. And maybe, you know, maybe at the midway point, we'll add like some stuff at the end of the video. I'm not sure, you know, but definitely playoff games we'll play in its entirety. In Super Bowls in its entirety. You know, like we usually do. Now let's get into some commentary, shall we? You know, 3rd down and 8 as Owen Phillips, he's gonna fire it to the left side and connect with Denzel Mims. That is gonna be enough for a first down. The Patriots secondary is still one of the best in the game. They still got Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson, 2 of the best corners in football. You know, and in man-to-man coverage, you're not really gonna get open many times against those guys. You know, 2nd down and 3, and it's going to be a catch by Kalani Lake, who was awfully busy in this football game. In the passing game, in the running game, now 2nd down and 9, we're going to get called for a false start. I believe that was Mekhi Becton, who was the one that got called for. Now the guys up front, they had a great day. Had a great day. Now they still have plays like that in the running game. Third down and 13. Matthew Foster makes the catch, and unfortunately, we just couldn't pick up the first down. We just couldn't. That was actually our first drive of the third quarter. Let's pick it up here on this next drive. At the 10, Kalani Lake punches it in. Touchdown, New York. Great job by the offensive line. As I said, they had a fantastic night. A fantastic night. And there goes Kareem Whitfield. The running game was big time in this game. Easily, probably our best day running the football, in quite some time. As Levi Bates gets himself into the game. And that is a pickup of 17 yards. And by the way, when I'm recording this, episode 24 should be coming out soon. 2nd and 10, and there goes Kalani Lake once again. He is 1 yard away from 100 yards. He has been outstanding. The entire offensive line, the entire running game has been outstanding. First down and goal. Bobby Peak catches it for a touchdown. His first of his career. That's the rookie. Unbelievable. Unbelievable job in the fourth quarter by this Jets offense and by this Jets football team. The Jets defense had some somewhat rough moments in this one. And you know what? We're going to end this game with a Cesar Alonso touchdown. This defense finished it strong, however. They did. And really, they only gave up really 2 bad plays this entire game. And that's going to do it, The Jets are going to walk out of this game 3-2 with the victory. And they're still second place in the division. Nothing has changed with that. I forgot to do the scores around the league and stuff like that. And now, let me know if you guys want that around the league, stuff like that. Just let me know. Actually, I probably will keep doing that. But just trying to pick up the pace of these series and stuff like that. Maybe doing games like styles like this. Probably actually maybe including a little bit more, but not a lot more than this. Because I want the gameplay parts maybe be 10 to 15 minutes. Then we move on to the next game. I don't want the gameplay to be, too much longer than that. In terms of how these videos are constructed. Owen Phillips was outstanding. 27 to 33. Just unbelievable. In the running game, Kalani Lake, man. Big time, dog. Big time, dog. He came up big for this team here tonight. And really, Ben Foster really just couldn't get anything going. Maybe this offense is better with somebody a little bit faster. I don't know. We got more guys involved than what we did against Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, you guys are not going to be able to see it because I accidentally deleted pretty much all the footage. And even the scores around the league, I deleted that. I'm so sorry. That is completely my fault. Now, you guys see, we're going to be taking a look at the Tennessee Titans, who will be our Week 6 matchup. And they're missing two of their top 5 players without question. And Adoree Jackson, who's made the Pro Bowl 2 times in his career. And Derrick Henry, easily one of the best running backs in football. Top 5 without question. Still even at the age of 30. Those guys are going to miss this upcoming game. And Derrick Henry, he caused a lot of problems the last time these two teams met up. And I think, they got their quarterback. I think their quarterback, Gavin Crane, has shown a lot of promise throughout this year. And maybe, I think this organization in Tennessee probably needs to make sure they judge him when he has a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield with him. The fact that he's only thrown 2 interceptions, and really both of those interceptions came in one game in Week 3. To me, I think they should give him another chance. Now, Cardell Flynn is going to replace Derrick Henry in this game. You know, I think this is start number 4 for him because Derrick Henry got hurt in week 2. And Adoree Jackson, Nate Simmons. And no, Nate Simmons will be replacing Adoree Jackson as their number 1 corner. I'll see you guys in week 6. Hope you guys liked the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.